Okay, gentlemen, I have your next question. There appears to be a serious leadership vacuum in California when year after year, only one or two people run for state vice president. Susan noted as we were discussing these questions that in her 14 years as a California Jaycee, she's never seen a contested election for the state vice president. So, how do you plan to make next year's election different? And Mr. Bromund, you are up, sir.
Contested elections are good fun. I am having an immense amount of fun working with Robert over the course of the 6 weeks that we're doing this campaign. It's been a tremendous individual development project for me and for my team. And I think that's the first thing I want to emphasize is that we build teams regardless of how many people are running. Barack Obama is not running with a cabinet. And really our vice presidencies in the Jaycees are much more like a cabinet than a true competitive elected position. And that's a function of our bylaws. Our bylaws say you run for vice president undesignated. So even if I had the world's best idea on how to do community development at the state level, I would be legally incorrect and politically impolite to say I'm running for community development vice president. The second part that makes me think it's much more like a cabinet is the reality of how it works. The president of our organization sets the tone, sets the agenda. And that's why it's really important as you evaluate your candidate for president that you pick the person who you think has the right tone and focus for our organization. Because people will follow based on the vision that's articulated. So in terms of a contested race for vice president, I'm not actually all that worried about that. What I'm worried about is, are we energizing leaders? Are we building teams? I have about 19 people who are working on this campaign this year to help make this a success. And another 5 or 6 who have told me, you know, Matt, if you win, I'm willing to pitch in a little. And that's what we need. We need everybody to be willing to pitch in a little. Whether or not we elect all our vice presidencies, I think could be a byproduct of a bygone era. There was a time when we had enough members to make all those elections purposeful. Now, we have one mission, growing this organization and demonstrating that our best days are ahead of us. That's why I'm running, and that's why I'm so proud to have the team that I do have working with me on this campaign. And I'm confident that team will show up next year and lead this junior chamber.
I think, again, the issue in terms of vice presidents is, again, you have to have members who are willing to step up, but I think they also need to be, people need to be encouraged to step up. Maybe they don't see in themselves that they want to run for vice president, but if people ask them, then they'll be willing to do that. In 2004, I served as the state nominations and elections chairman, and I did go up to a number of people to encourage them to run for state office. I told them, if you're not running for president, you better be running for vice president. If you're not running for vice president, you should be running for regional director. It was a little bit of a joke, but it was to encourage people to think about that. And because the problem that we have is, you know, by not having a sufficient number of vice presidents running, then additional people have to be recruited. It may help the incoming president in terms of putting together a team, but I mean, if you're a leader, please step up by November and file by November 5th and run for one of the vice president positions, or for Region C director or Region B director, because we don't have candidates for those positions right now. Also, the nominations committee and even the executive committee have the power to nominate additional folks for these different vice president positions, and I would encourage them to consider finding more people to run for office. And if there are people on my team, and I know I've been talking to several people who have been thinking about running, to go ahead and file, and I'd certainly encourage Matt's supporters too, if they're interested in serving as a vice president, go ahead and file. The thing about running for state office is it's ID extreme, and certainly it's been like that over the past couple of weeks. So, you know, this is your junior chamber. You can make a difference in it, and if you're thinking about running, please run so that we have good leadership for this coming year and for future years. Thank you.